Well, hello to you, my YouTube tribe. Welcome to my channel, Auntie Essie's Chat Cafe. Auntie Essie here, bringing you another edition of my Friday Freakout. You know what I want to chat about today, or what I'm freaking out about today? Well, on Wednesday, March 8th, we celebrated globally International Women's Day. Well, why do we need in 2017 to still be having things like International Women's Day, and also it's Women's History Month in America? Why do we need things like this? You know, there are women out there, some women, who are saying that there's no reason to be celebrating things like, or honoring things like Women's Day, because women now have equality. Yes, we've made some great strides, and there have been many improvements. I'm sure women like me would not have a voice to even be on a platform like YouTube 50, maybe even 20, 25 years ago. However, it's 2017, and just to and then especially the women speaking up, or so-called conservative women, these are people who consider themselves people of faith, and regardless of what your faith is, I believe that part of being a person of faith, or person a spiritual person, is being concerned about the well-being of not just our own personal well-being, but about the well-being of everyone, the whole world, every being. You know, so how can some of us be so callous about the well-being of other human beings? So I just thought I'd share a little bit with you. According to Wikipedia, human rights of women, or women's rights, are human rights, and the human rights of women include their right to have control over and decide free and responsibly on matters related to their sexuality, including sexual and reproductive health, free of coercion, discrimination, and violence. Just to illustrate the reason why we still need to be having conversation about women's rights and the importance of that, I wrote these things down so that I can give you some precise information. And just to illustrate the point, in Canada, in the province of Nova Scotia, just this week, I believe it was Monday, that would have been Monday, March 6th, there was a court decision in the province of Nova Scotia. A judge found a man charged with sexual assault not guilty because he felt that the woman consented. And the whole thing is just so bizarre to me, because this woman was quite heavily intoxicated. So instead of driving herself home, she had a little bit of the wherewithal to call for a taxi. And the taxi driver that she called, somebody she doesn't know, this is a cab driver that she's planning to pay, sexually assaulted her. And she just lucked out that the cab was parked by a side of the road, and the police noticed that the cab was parked, and noticed, you know, I'm sure they noticed there was, you know, they weren't sure. Anyway, that's how she was saved. The police saved her, and the driver, the taxi driver, claimed that she consented to having sex with him, and the judge found him not guilty. And what baffles me is, even though nationally it's illegal in Canada to drive while intoxicated, it's illegal to drive your car where you're intoxicated, but apparently it's not illegal to consent to having sexual intercourse with a perfect stranger that you have never seen before, except to hire them to perform a service, which is to drive you home safely since you couldn't drive. And those are just little bits of things that are still happening to women in this day and age, even in countries like Canada. And in that vein, just to illustrate the point of the inequity, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the fact that why in this day and age that women still make less than men doing the same job. The same exact job. The job description is not any different. The performance is not any different. This one actually hits home to me. I recently found out that a coworker and I at an organization that we both used to work for, and we were both hired and started the same day. As a matter of fact, I am more qualified and more experienced than him, but I now find out after the fact that, well, when we were hired and the period we worked together, he earned about $5,000 more a year than I did, and we had the same exact position, the same exact job. I would even say, I worked much harder than he did, but that's neither here nor there. Nobody can collaborate that. But finding out that he actually, because number one, he's male. Number two, I hate to say it, but he also happens to be a white male, and I'm very, very highly disheartened, and I found this out about 2 weeks ago. So I was I'm very disheartened about that. But just to give you statistics from 2014, this statistics for about Australia, Canada, and US. And that's to just give you an idea. In Australia, for 2014, the weekly pay for people working full-time, women made an average of $1,325 a week, while men, Australian men, made an average of $1,603 a week. So that's almost $300 difference a week. Just imagine that. In Canada, in the same period, women made just about 82 cents to every dollar a man made in 2014. And in the US, women made an average of 79 cents to the dollar, to every dollar a man made in 2014. Why? And these statistics I got from I compared information from Statistics Canada and some global statistics sites and global organizations that monitors gender and pay equity in the workplace. So the reason why I choose to do that is I want to make sure that I use Canadian statistics, because these days using with the climate in America, I wanted to make sure that the information that I'm getting is actually factual, not alternative facts. Anyway, so that I'm just saying this to just illustrate, and the point that when are we going to actually start practicing equality and not look at people's gender, people's race, and just see people as human beings? And so that's what I'm putting out to you today. In terms of, I would love to hear from you if you're a woman or if you know of a woman, do you have you experienced any inequity because of your gender? And this is to men. How do you think we can arrive at this equality between the genders? It's equality in having a say so about our own bodies, our health, the things that, without men feeling that they are being emasculated, or why or how does me as a female having equality infringe on your rights as a male or as another human being? So that's my question. So let me just clarify that again. Number one, I want to hear from both men and women what can we do to improve and work towards gender equality in the workplace, in education, and in health. And I want to ask men exactly why or what is it that makes you feel that if women have equal rights with you, that will infringe on your rights as a human being and as a man? So please remember to comment down below. And to just finish this off, one of the things that when we talk about women's health, women's rights, especially talking about reproductive rights, I know there have been issues in America and in other countries, but what is so, especially in America, they're currently talking about defunding and basically Planned Parenthood will probably go by the wayside. One of the things I want to speak to is I know people, I have friends who use the services of Planned Parenthood. Everybody thinks that people who use Planned Parenthood is to go have abortions, but Planned Parenthood actually about 80 to 85% of their services is providing healthcare to people who cannot afford it. And I'm not talking about just poor people, but the working poor, the low-income people who are working, who have full-time positions, yet they cannot afford health insurance. They cannot afford healthcare any other way except for utilizing Planned Parenthood's medical services. I have a very good friend who lives in the U.S. She couldn't have gone through her pregnancy safely if she didn't have access to care through Planned Parenthood. Yes, she was working, but between her and her partner, they couldn't afford to have health care. And then there was a baby coming, so the only place that she could get care is through the Planned Parenthood in their city. And that's, she went to the clinics for all her prenatal care, and luckily things changed a little bit. About 2 months before the baby came, they were able to get some form of insurance, but even that was pretty costly for them. But if it wasn't that Planned Parenthood was available to them and they were able to save a little bit of money to plan for their baby, they would have been in a very, very challenging position because she had some health issues. So those are the things I would love for us to think about. And why is it so important for one person to control another? Why can't we just live and focus on being the best that we can be and work to support other people to be the best that they can be? Anyway, that's my rant or freak out for this Friday. Thank you so much for watching. And to all my friends, my female friends out there, and supporters, I hope you had a fantastic International Women's Day. And if you're in America, enjoy Women's History Month. And, you know, do whatever you can to support the well-being of women. Or at least focus on supporting your own well-being. The more you focus on supporting your own well-being and see how important it is to you, the more you'll be willing to support other people's well-being. So once again, thank you so much for watching. This is Auntie Essie saying goodbye for now. Stay blessed.